All this meat I got for $4.69 a pound, and I'm going to show you how you can get it yourself and how to utilize every single piece of this block of meat. I have here about 21 pounds of meat. I got it for only $4.69 per pound in Costco. You can also get it from Sam's Club, but it is more expensive, around $5.70 per pound. Still a good deal. You need to go to the butcher department and ask for chuck roll. Not all the workers there will understand what you ask for. Just be persistent. They do have it in the back. I place it by the sink so all the blood can drain right in there, avoiding extra mess. I am not an expert in handling the meat, not at all. I am showing you here how I go about it. I am usually guessing what type of meat I have. This is a learning process for me. And I want to share my experience with you. This part here is the best part of chuck roll by far. It is called Denver steak. You will see here how the different parts of meat are separated, and I am going to try my best to follow those lines to get a different part of the meat, with my priority being not to disturb the Denver steak. You will need this type of knife. It is very cheap. I bought it around $10, maybe $20 on Amazon. I will put a link below in description. Initially, the process is very easy, as you can see. No need to make any cuts. And all this fat you see here, I will use as well. I won't throw it out. I am going to make beef tallow at the very end of this video. It is the healthiest fat you can use for cooking, and this way it doesn't cost you any extra. These videos that I share here with you are just a small part of a successful weight loss journey. I wasted decades of my life trying to figure out what works. But with proper knowledge, right from the start, you can save lots of time. If you need personalized help to kickstart your weight loss journey, you must check out Blue Jay RX. Their 90-day program is so easy to understand and focuses on whole foods nutrition and personal coaching. I absolutely align with their approach to health and weight loss. They have great coaches and you can talk to them one-on-one before you get started. Go to bluejrx.com and schedule your free consultation today. Their appointment scheduling tool is super convenient and easy to use. And if you tell your coach that I sent you, you'll get 20% off the entire program. Again, that's bluejrx.com. I added a link in description. Please check it out. And see, here I'm going to the very end. So I'm going to put this top part that I cut out in the sink. I'll deal with it later. This is the part of a chuck roll, actually. And there are some other things that I can utilize it. I'll do it later. So the most important one is this part here because it has the Denver steak in here. And as you can see, this could be some flat iron, I believe. And it's, it's nicely put together so it's easy to separate it. We're going to do that after we deal with the Denver steak, of course. We want to get as many pieces of that one as possible. So this was an easy cut. You can use it as a steak or cut it up later for stir fry. I'm going to clean it up later. And now before I start cutting into Denver steak, I want to get rid of the top layer of the fat. And again, I am not going to discard it. I'm going to put it on the side as I am going to reuse it later. Not that skin here. I mean, they forgot to clean it up better, so this one is just trash. But the rest, you have a lot of fat that you can have it for as beef tallow, which is a great thing. And this is a big piece of fat. I'll deal with it later as well. I just want to open it up so I can have a clean way of getting to that Denver steak. And see how much fat this is? This is all that you can melt away and have nice, healthy fat to use for your cooking. And this cut here, well, I just want to get it out of the way. I can use it for ground beef or some pieces to saute or something like that. And I usually cut my Denver steak pretty thick. Like you can see, it's about 2-inch thick. I like it nice and thick. And look at the marbling. I mean, it's insane. It's really good. I have to say, this is by far the best tasting steak. I can even say that it's probably better than a ribeye. And I just keep on cutting until the grain just start changing. So this is almost done. Like you can see, it's already changing a little bit. But since I still want to get the most of it, I'm going to do just one more cut because I just want to get the most steak out of it. And as you can see this way, it's already changing. So we're already cutting into a different steak. But I'll deal with it. I'll still use it like a steak. All good for me. So you still have kind of Denver steak looking like on this side, not on the other one, but that's okay. And this one I'm just gonna cut off for stir frying or sauteing. Or maybe I'll just make the ground beef. All right, so I'll keep on cleaning it, removing the fat, removing the kind of, I don't know if it's a vein, but like a fascia or something. Because that white little thing besides the fat, certain cuts like the flat iron steak or a skirt steak, if you don't remove it and you put it on the heat, it tends like to be kind of chewy. So I usually take my time and remove those little things along with the fat. And I'm gonna at this point, I'm just trying to find other pieces, what else I can do. And I'm just playing as I go. I'm really not 100% sure what I'm doing, I'll be honest with you. So this one looks like a kind of flat iron, like the flank steak kind. And that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to use it as a steak as well. So as you can see, you can already have some savings because a flat iron steak where I'm at, it costs about $10 per pound. I got it for less than $5, and even if you buy in Sam's Club, it's below $6 per pound. So you're still saving a lot of money. And look at this. Perfect. And I have a few more pieces that I have to decide what to do with and get more of the fat out. You don't have to get rid of the fat like I do. I just want to have the leanest pieces of meat. As you know, I do count calories. I do make sure that most of the week I'm eating the leanest meat possible. That's why I remove as much fat as possible. As you can see, it gets a little messy here, like deciding what to do. but that's okay. And you can decide how you want to cut it. It's really, it doesn't matter. At some point, once you have those, when you start buying chuck roll and start cutting them, you're gonna start seeing what pieces of meat do you need and how you want to cut it, what you're gonna do with it. I usually put them in like half a gallon or so bags, and I put them in the freezer and I label them what I'm gonna do with them. So if I have a steak, I put that I want to use it as a steak, and if I have, let's say, pieces of cut smaller cube meat, I'm gonna label it as a saute. And for the chuck itself, I'm just gonna put the chuck because I like it, use it as a steak most of the time. But at least I know before I defreeze what I'm gonna do and what I'm gonna have for dinner. And also there's another thing that I do with these meats, these pieces of meat that you see here. I usually use them for a stir fry. So when I freeze them and take them out of the freezer, I probably will put it in the fridge for about a day. And the next day, they still not defrosted completely at all. They still kind of hard. So then I'll chop them up into very thin slices and marinate them. And I'll make usually like a Asian inspired dish, like a stir fry with vegetables. It's really good and very, very easy to make. So these things you can literally make ahead of time and marinate and leave it in your fridge. See, and this also looks like a flat iron type. You can recognize it by those veins going a long way across. Like this one, it looks like the type of steak. So the whole process takes me about an hour to do the whole thing. And you know what? It's all worth it. It lasts me because we don't eat beef every single day. We do eat it a lot, but I would say maybe 3 to 5 times a week. So for a family of 3, this would last me for a month or so. So it's a pretty good deal, especially nowadays when everything is so expensive. See, that's another stir fry part. I can stir fry it or use it as a steak. This type of steak could be a bit on the chewy side, so you have to decide how you like it. So that's why I'm saying just do it once or twice, and then you'll decide which cuts of meat are better for what. And now I'm gonna take care of the chuck steak part of the chuck roll. And this is also, like, I would say it's my second best that I like. Right after the Denver steak, I really enjoy chuck. And I basically prepare it exactly the same way as I prepare any other steak. I like to cut it very thick, like probably 3 inches at least tall. And I would saute it on a cast iron pan for a while, like per each side. I most of the time I don't even put it in the oven to finish it up, because it's really like when it gets nice and brown, it actually gets done to a medium rare, like a very medium rare, more on the rare side. I like my steak that way, and these are like the best dinners ever. Like you can see right here, my chuck dinner that I made out of these. And it's just an example. And a regular chuck steak would cost probably on a sale $6 per pound. But lately I've seen them $7, $8 per pound. So it's still a good deal. And the last piece of pieces are gonna be for even for ground beef. I'll do that a lot, and see so much meat out of that chuck roll. You have the chuck steak and the pieces of meat for whatever you want to use. This I'm gonna grind, and I'm gonna have some ground beef. And of course, the best one is my Denver steak that I'm gonna enjoy. So for the rest, I have all these cuts that I cut out, all the fat. I'm gonna cut it a little bit finer so it can melt away on my pan. And I heat it up on a very low heat, like the lowest you can possibly put. And I'm gonna spread them all around. And you wanna make sure that they don't lay one on the other. You wanna spread them evenly on the whole pan. And I'm gonna let it simmer for at least a couple of hours. But alternatively, if you don't want to do it this way, you can put it in the oven at like 350 degrees Fahrenheit, 180 Celsius, and it can actually get the same result, probably a little bit faster. But it's up to you, either way. See how much fat you can render from those pieces? It's just amazing. And after they completely done and dried out and most of the fat is gone, I take them out. And I'm gonna put that fat right on top of my previously made beef tallow. So you see, it's gonna turn, if you leave it in the fridge, it's gonna turn completely white. And I'm just gonna add a little bit extra to it because I've had a little more, I melted before. And I'm gonna put it back. It has to still be kind of, don't put it when it's like extremely hot. I just let it sit for a while, cool it down a little bit, but still be runny, so you can transfer it easily. So here's your beef tallow. And here are some examples of recipes that I make with my beef chuck roll. Go check out these recipes next, and that's when I'm gonna see you.